All right, so we got about 14 minutes until New York Open. I'm pretty much just going to run through some of my plans, some of my levels. Hopefully, some of these trade setups will get hit. So, I already took one trade on Bitcoin today. I shorted the SFP of this hourly lower high. So, looking at structure, we got the break in hourly structure right here when we fell back down below this higher low. And from there, created a downtrend, a little fake out break of the downtrend before just putting in a lower low. Then we had lower high, lower low, came up to SFP this high. So I took that short. I didn't take it, the first wick. We had one wick above this level, kind of consolidated here, and then got another wick above this level. So this is where I shorted. We saw some divergences as we got that last move to the upside. Um, there was some decrease of open interest here, not crazy, but overall, I was just looking at the reaction. We got a quick wick up, quick wick fell back down. I entered, somewhere right around there. And my first target for this is the value area low. So usually when I trade an SFP of a market structure point, I like to target the opposite market structure point, but I'm not gonna have that be my only target. I'm gonna take profits at this 0.5 and the value area low, and then I'll probably take some more profits in this area of demand down here, this 2-minute order block. I'm not gonna wait until the exact low because a lot of times you'll come down pretty close to the low. Traders will say, okay, that's good enough, close enough to the low, and we'll never end up hitting it. And another reason that I'm thinking of taking profits a little earlier, like inside of this order block, is because we could have a Wyckoff model here. So we had this first low, we SFP'd that low. Now, if we either come down to put in a higher low compared to this one, then we could form a Model 2 Wyckoff, which would be something like that. Or if we come down to SFP this low one more time, then it could be a Model 1. So I'm looking at either of those two possibilities, and pretty much those are my next trade ideas, either along from this demand zone or this SFP. And from there, my primary target would be pretty much the highs of this range. And there is also a 30-minute order block above that. I have it marked out just as an intermediate level. The golden pocket's right around there too. So, maybe we SFP this block, hit off the GP. So those are pretty much my ideas right now. If this doesn't end up working out and we get a move back above this high, and if we start closing above this hourly lower high, then we have officially broken structure. We have broken the downtrend, and then if we come back down, we can expect that we might put in a higher low somewhere to continue an uptrend. So as of right now, that's pretty much what I'm looking at. Right now, we got about 9 minutes until New York Open, and we are still trading below the point of control, which I like. I would like for us to, stay down below this point of control and hopefully soon lose this low. Looking at Market Cipher, we're kind of seeing some mixed signals. Like this 6 hour is looking kind of decent. We just got this green dot printed down here. Seems like money flow is even getting a little turn to the upside, so that looks like it could be the start of something. But the 4 hour is looking a little less strong for sure. We don't really see that turn to the upside in money flow, and really we just kind of see it bleeding out. And we got this green dot a while ago. The VWAP came up a little bit and now is pointing back down, so we might get a red dot here soon. Not really convincing either way on Market Cipher. The 2 hour does look a little bearish, money flow bleeding out, and looks like we might get a tight trigger wave here to the downside, which, that could be kind of bearish, especially with the money flow bleeding out. So that's something to pay attention to. And the 1 hour, we did have an increase of momentum here and money flow. Wasn't super strong, but we did see a little uptrend in those two. But now we have topped out on this momentum wave. Looks like it might want to start turning back to the downside. And the last time we topped out in momentum on the 1 hour, we did come down to put in a lower low. And we can check the midterm time frames. 24-minute looks like we definitely have some downside potential. Money flow looks like it's in a downtrend, and it is, along with momentum locally. So midterm time frames looking kind of bearish. 12-minute did just get this increase in money flow, but I don't think that is going to be enough to avoid the bearish things that we're seeing on a lot of other time frames. So it does look like right now Market Cipher is agreeing with my short on most time frames. We can check some of the lower time frames. Yeah, this 6-minute, the money flow is really starting to come out, so I'm not too concerned with that 12-minute money flow right now, because it seems like on most time frames the money flow is bleeding out. On this 3-minute as well, you can see it. So, yeah, pretty much I will make an update once price does something, I guess. Alright, so it's about 19 minutes after New York Open, and we just came down to hit my TP1. We also just tagged that order block that I was looking at. So in terms of this trade, I now have a good profit locked in. I took out a lot of profits right here, about 50% of my position. So now I have my stop loss above the 786. Yeah, it's a little bit above my entry, but I'm still ensuring a good profit with this trade. So did not take this long. That was simply way too fast of a wick. And yeah, I'm not going to be interested in this unless we see something maybe on the lower time frames to give me an entry, such as maybe now like an SFP of this low, something like that. And yeah, then we have a little market structure shift right there as well. So right now I'm looking for something like that. And if not, my next targets for the short is going to be this demand zone. And that's going to be the next area of interest for longs for me. Alright, it is now midnight. It's been a while, and I guess this is turning into a bit of a different video. Maybe it'll be like my weekend trades. So I'll probably go over what has happened with my trades since my last update. And maybe if I take some scalps tomorrow, then I'll include this in the video and kind of make it like a longer one. Hopefully get multiple trades in it. But since my last update, I did take one trade. So the short that I took from somewhere up here got stopped out. I took 50% of the trade out at the value area low, and that ended up being a good TP, because we pretty quickly came up to stop out that trade. So I got a good profit locked in with that one. I'm happy with that trade. But since we have come up to break the high, we put in a new high, and we have now closed 1 hour candles up above the 1 hour swing point. So we have now officially broken the downtrend on the 1 hour. So that is somewhat of a significant development. And now based on that, if we start getting a retracement, I may be looking for a higher low somewhere, potentially into one of these order blocks. This one is lining up with the golden pocket, so this 30-minute order block is looking decent. I'm still watching this 2-minute order block down here. We could come down to the 786, something like that. So pretty much that's my trading plans right now. And I did take a short trade from this high. We got a local SFP of this high. And yeah, I decided to take the trade even though we have just switched into bullish market structure. I saw confirmations for a short up here, and so I decided to take it. We had divergences in momentum and money flow here across multiple time frames. Even on the 10-minute, let's see, did the money flow diverge on the 10-minute? Yeah, even from back here, we had a money flow div on the 10-minute and then local momentum. So there were some bearish confirmations. That was mainly what I went off of. If you go over to Coinalyze and on Bybit, there were some liquidations at this high, not the high that I shorted, but the one that we put in right before it. There was a good amount of trades getting closed out right here. And when we come up for this last high, a few more trades got stopped out. But yeah, that was the trade I took. I had my first target down at the local lows, basically targeting the low that created the move that led to an SFP. So this was my first target, and that was a pretty good risk reward on its own. I locked in a decent amount of profits with this trade already. And yeah, so far we got to move into this 2-hour order block. I'm hoping that we are able to lose the point of control of this range and ideally make a move down towards some of these supports that we got lower. Alright, it is now Saturday. It is about 7 p.m. on Saturday, and I have only taken one more trade since my last update. The last update I made was when I took this short right here. I think I had already locked in profits when I made the update, and since then we pretty much just came up to stop out my trade at entry. So that one got stopped out. It was a profitable trade. I think I locked in like 1%, like so pretty much what I risked on the trade. So it was still a good trade, not the greatest trade, but closed that one for a profit. And I did not take a short up here, although I was looking for one. I didn't short this first SFP of this high, even though we got a nice reaction off it. You can see we had this purple candle that came down to about here. So good reaction from there, and then we did get a retrace, I believe, into the golden pocket. And I was thinking about taking that trade, but I did not. I was hoping that we would come up to take out these highs one more time. And yeah, you can see we got to move up to the 786. So a good retracement there. I wasn't seeing any absorption or anything that made me want to take the trade. So yeah, I just did not take that one. And now we have come down to a zone I was watching. There's this 10-minute order block here and the 0.5 fib. And it was around the lows of this larger range. We didn't quite hit the value area low, but it was around the lows of the range. So I decided to take a little long from that order block, and I entered it a little early. I wish I would have waited a little bit because we got a nice retracement here. But we got a very nice reaction on this wick. If I delete this fixed range, you can see how big of a wick that was. So I pretty much entered on that reaction. And later, as we got that retracement, or after we got that retracement, we did see a lot of longs opening up, which is what I wanted to see. I was hoping to see a lot of longs open up after I entered, and it took a little bit. You can see there wasn't much going on in terms of order flow here, but then we got this massive spike in open interest. A lot of longs opened up, giving fuel to the move to the upside. And so far I hit TP1. I still have my stop loss down below the 886 fib, so I still have a little bit of risk on this trade, but I de-risked already, and so far we're holding resistance on the POC. My next target is going to be around the highs of the range, and yeah, that was the only trade I have taken today. Now in terms of developments here, we have potentially broken the 1 hour uptrend depending on how you look at it. So we started the 4 hour uptrend by breaking this last lower high right here. And I mean, it's a little iffy because technically we got SFPs right here, but we did eventually close up above this high, and then we put in a higher low and a higher high, even though this was an SFP on the higher time frames. So I would be looking at this as the last higher low, and yeah, if you're doing that, then we have closed below that. On the 1 hour, you can see we closed well below that low. So it seems like right now we have started a 1 hour downtrend. So I think for my next trade ideas, I would be prioritizing shorts, ideally looking for a lower high somewhere up in this area, around the 0.5 or the golden pocket. Yeah, also up around the highs of this range. That's probably what I'd be looking for. There isn't much in terms of order blocks up here, aside from some low time frame order blocks. Like there was a 5-minute one somewhere, but there wasn't much that stood out to me here. So I'd probably just be watching the fib levels and the volume levels, honestly, and seeing if we get confirmations up around the highs. And other than that, I mean, I'd be watching the SFP of these highs still. I have that idea marked out. And yeah, aside from that, my plans have not changed. I may be interested in this area down here, and I will definitely be interested in the low. So I'll check back in a little bit if anything happens. Alright, it is Sunday now. It's about noontime on Sunday. And yeah, since my last update, we have gotten a move to the upside. I somehow managed to stay in this trade, even though we got this very deep retracement. That is why I put my stop loss down below the 886 when I'm trying to, stay in a trade if I can, especially after I de-risked. By the time I de-risked, if my stop loss got hit here, it would have been less than a 0.5% of my total trading account, which, yeah, I was fine with taking that risk. I had a few good trades beforehand, so, yeah, I just decided to put my stop down below the 886, which was right about here, and it did not get hit. I am still in this long, and I took a lot of profits out when I woke up around these highs. So I'm glad this scalp ended up working out in my favor, but even if it didn't, it would have been a profitable weekend. And so now in terms of my next ideas, this is pretty much what I'm looking at. So I would say, even though it's a little weird, the market structure here, I would say that we are definitely in a 1 hour downtrend right now. So what we may expect here is that we will put in a lower high relative to this high and, potentially continue a downtrend. We have come up to the 786 area. We got a little move above the 786, and we are seeing some divergences on some of these midterm time frames with momentum. Money flow, on the 30-minute, we have a potential money flow dip there. Even on this 24-minute, we actually do. But the 12-minute does not. And, okay, the 6-minute does as well. So more time frames than I thought have money flow divs. So, it is potential that this could end up being a lower high here. And honestly, I may consider closing out this trade if we break local market structure here, which we have transition market structure right here, and then we have higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So if we start falling back down below this low, then I may consider just closing this trade out, taking the rest of the profits that I have. But I did not see anything that would make me want to short this as a lower high. The divergences are there, and we are actually at the value area high of a range. So, I could, probably justify a short here, but I just did not want to cover this high up here because I was hoping that we would come up to take out this high. And, if I traded this right here with stop above the high, it's a 1.7 risk reward. Not super great, especially not for a trade I'm not super confident in. I would have liked to see some absorption here, either from this last high or locally, but we did not get either. We would have wanted to see CVD putting in a higher high relative to where the CVD was right here, which we did not. CVD's gotten a move to the downside. So no absorption there, and locally we do not see that either. In fact, we may see some local bullish absorption here, with the CVD putting in lower lows as the open interest is increasing and as price is putting in higher lows. So the bullish absorption here is really what kept me from wanting to short this, and kind of makes me think we might get a run up to this high to potentially SFP it. So as of right now, that is pretty much what I'm looking at. If we start dumping from here, whatever, I'll just close out my long and probably be done with trading, at least until some of my other significant levels are hit, because I won't be at the charts much today. I have plans in a little bit. Yeah, if this ends up being my last trade, then I will probably end the video here, but if not, if I end up taking some more trades today, then I'll probably make one more update. Alright, it is Monday now, and I figured I'd make one more update because I did take one more trade, even though it ended up being a loss. I took this trade right here. We got, that move into that golden pocket, the already tapped 30-minute order block, but, we wicked this low, and yeah, at the time, I entered on this first wick. It was looking like we were getting an SFP of this low on some of the higher time frames, and yeah, we didn't. We just ended up, stopping out my trade, coming lower. Not a big deal, it still ended up being a profitable weekend for me. I'm a little salty that I took a loss though, because, it turned, a pretty good weekend of trading into just like a decent weekend of trading, but, we'll get it back this week. It's all good. So yeah, that's pretty much the last update of this video. So far, we have come down into this 2-minute order block, and we've hit off the 786. We are seeing some low time frame divergences here, but it is not looking super convincing. With the 1 hour money flow just falling into the red, and the 24-minute money flow making lower lows on the red. The 12-minute money flow is, slightly diverging as we made this last low, so that could give us something. The momentum is diverging as well, but I'm not seeing anything that has me, super convinced of this low. And we are also seeing some potential bearish absorption here as price is making a lower high, CVD is making a higher high with the open interest increasing. So not exactly the conditions that I would want to long. Maybe if we end up coming down to put in a lower low, or if we start seeing some bullish absorption, then I may be interested. But right now, I think my original idea for this, the Wyckoff, is not looking as likely now. And I mean, I'm still a novice when it comes to Wyckoffs, but I mean, I feel like this third tap is just too far away from these two to really be considered, proper model. And also, we came up to break structure already, which I don't know if that fits into the model either. I don't think it does. So I'm not really looking at that idea anymore. But I still will be watching this low for an SFP. I'll still be watching local price action for a potential entry. Alright, well, that is about it for this video. My weekend trades, I think in total I took 4 trades. 3 of them ended up being winners. Still not too bad. It was a good weekend of trading. I hope you were able to get something out of this video, get something out of the way I plan out trades, how I manage them, something. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Really appreciate the support, and I will see you all in the next video.